Hi, this is Ben Baxter with Accent Software. Wanted to bring you a quick tip on Microsoft Business Central. Today we're going to talk about suggest vendor payments. This is a functionality that has existed in the software for a long time, but not everybody knows it's there or is trained on how to use this capability. I'm first going to a payment journal. So when I'm talking about suggesting vendor payments, I want the system to tell me who I need to pay, why I need to pay them, so based on dates and when things are due, and how much I need them to be paid. In traditional mindset of not having automation, I can come into the payment journal, I can select the vendor that I want to pay, I can manually select what I want to pay. So in this case, we'll do an invoice, and I can look it up and say, okay, this is the oldest invoice. I can see it's red, so it's past due. That's the one I want to pay, and it'll default the amount to the line. Very manual. It's not the greatest way of entering data because you're having to make a lot of manual decisions. Now I can streamline that a little bit if I step up the capability and I use the apply entries. Now I have the ability to come and select multiple invoices at a time, set my applies to ID on them and say okay, and then it'll total these up. So in this case I have 2, 3, 4, maybe about $5,000, actually just short. And so that's the amount that it will drop on the line. And so in that case, I'm making a single payment for multiple invoices. Again, doing this very manually, doing it one at a time. So not using the capability of the software, what we call underutilizing the software. So we're going to take those lines out, and we're going to look at a different way of doing this. And there is a capability called suggest vendor payments. So under the prepare, on older versions, it's probably just under the home menu, but you have a function called suggest vendor payments. And there are options, and I'm not going to go through all of them, but there's quite a lot, so you get to decide how you want it to operate. The big ones that I'll point out is the last payment date. This is not the last time you paid the vendor. This is what do you want to make payments through. So what due date, what's the last date that I want to consider. And then I have the option to check other batches. So if there's multiple payments happening, I don't want to duplicate. I don't want to have somebody else do the same thing. So I want to make sure that it checks other batches before it gives me my calculation. And then the last thing is summarize per vendor. This is optional. So if you like to see itemized out view and see each invoice on its own line, you can still have it cut one check for multiple invoices, but have the line level detail shown in the journal. I like the summary view. It keeps it really clean, and I can see that each line represents a single check. So we'll go ahead and run this. And I have 5 vendors set up in my system, so I'm expecting 5 lines. And you can see the amounts vary. They are applied. They are not applied to any specific document number. So these are all paying multiples. And so it's not, again, line level detail. I could have had that option checked, but I have the ability to go and see what is it paying. So in my case, all of these happen within the 4/30/24 date, so they're all due prior to April 30th of 24, and so it covered all of those and includes them all in one big check run. And then it simply totals that up, and that's what I see on my line. And that's the case for all of these. So if you go and look at what's being paid, it is summarizing everything in my system. Now just to show you a little difference here, if we come in and delete these entries and we run that process again, this time we're going to change our date, and we're going to just say let's do it through the work date, which is kind of early April, and we'll run it again. Notice the amounts are quite a bit different, and if we go and look at some of the entries and how they're applied, we're no longer applying to those that are beyond that last payment date. So that's how that field comes into play. Wanted to make sure people understand it's not based on when you posted it, it is based on when that invoice is due. You can see it's applying it to this first 3 invoices just like I did on the previous entry. So that's just a different way of viewing that information. I just wanted you to see the suggest vendor payments option so that you can be more efficient on what to pay, when it's due. Let the system calculate that information for you. A lot of different capabilities around that. Hope that was at least helpful to get you started. If you have more questions, if you want to learn more about this, please reach out to us here at Accent Software. We have a fantastic support team that would love to help you out. As a business, we do specialize in manufacturing, so if that's your industry, even better, but we do help with the general Business Central processing as well. With that, I appreciate you watching this video. Hopefully you liked and subscribed to our channel and that you share our videos with your colleagues. Thank you so much.